Hey, I'm Richard. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm here today to share with you another fun, easy recipe that allows you to be creative and put your own spin on things. It's awesome! Today I'm going to show you how to make hot wings. Hot wings are kind of a staple here in the US for tailgating, parties, things like that. Really easy to make. There's several different ways you can make them. You can deep fry them, which is kind of like the traditional way to do it. But I find that that's very messy, and I hate dealing with all the grease and crap. You can also grill them, but today it's pouring outside, so not going to be doing that. The third method is to bake them, which is this recipe I found. It's really great, not very messy, which is nice, and it takes about, from start to finish, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes maybe. It's great. So let me get all the ingredients together here and we'll get started. All right, we're back. Got my ingredients together. Again, like I said, this is a really easy recipe, and the thing I like is that you can kind of make it your own, put your own twist on it. I've made this recipe probably 5 or 6 times, and each time I do it, I change the ingredients up a little bit just to have fun with it. So all you really need is a little salt and pepper. Some seasonings. What I'm going to use is some garlic powder and a little turmeric. Why? Because why not? And some honey. And of course hot sauce and chicken wings. I got about 2 pounds worth of chicken wings. I've got whole chicken wings. I didn't buy them already cut up. Fun fact, the less processed the chicken is, the cheaper it is. So buying a whole chicken is going to be cheaper than buying the individual parts. Not that you buy the individual parts to make a chicken, but you know what I'm saying. So instead of buying just the already chopped up little drumsticks and whatnot, or drumettes, whatever they call them, I've just got the whole wing. And I'll cut those up. I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. Takes just a minute. A fun fact though is the little tips of the wings, instead of throwing them away, toss them in a freezer bag, make chicken stock. One thing you need to keep in mind when cutting up stuff like these chicken wings is you want to make sure you use a very sturdy, sharp knife. Sharp knife is safer than a dull knife. And you want something that's going to be heavy duty, got some weight behind it, and that way it'll go through the bone and the cartilage and everything much easier. So let me show you how to do this. Since we're home cooking, things don't have to be perfect, but we'll try to get as close as possible. All right, so when you're cutting these, what you want to do is cut it at the joint. And if you feel in here, you can feel where the little knobby is for the joint. So that's literally where you want to cut. So, boom. And there you go. Keep that one. Now for this is a little bit tougher to get just right, but as long as you get pretty much on that cartilage, you get a nice little wing here, and a nice little drumette. And if you can see right here, there's the little bit of cartilage and bone that I cut through. So I'm going to go through and finish cutting these up for you. Aren't you glad you don't have to do it? And we'll get started on getting them seasoned. And like magic, we have you cut up wings. Try to get a bowl that's big enough that you can kind of space them out a little bit, so when we season them, things get covered evenly. And then we got the little nibs here that are going to become chicken stock soon. Now I'm going to use a little avocado oil on this. It's got a higher smoke point, and that's great. Quick note though, you need to be careful do your research, I should say, before you buy avocado oil and olive oils. Been reading recently that there's a lot of shady practices, shall we say, when it comes to things like that, with these oils, that they're cutting them with cheaper oils or with oils that have gone bad, that are rancid, things like that. So you may not be getting what you're paying for. So do your research and find companies that are legit and aren't going to rip you off. You caught me. Okay, so one of the interesting things about wings is that the sauce actually goes on at the very end. What we're going to do is we're going to oil them, season them, and bake them for about an hour just to get them cooked. Once we've got them cooked, then we will toss them with some sauce, put them back under the broiler to brown them up, caramelize the sauce a little bit. It's gonna be great. So I got the wings in here. I've got some avocado oil that I think is legit. We'll see. You don't need a lot, just enough to, I'd say maybe a couple of tablespoons, just enough that you can coat them all really good. And then we're gonna do our seasonings. I'd say about a teaspoon or so of garlic powder. Got a little too much there. We're gonna do probably, I don't know, good tablespoon of salt. Maybe half a tablespoon of salt. Don't want to go too crazy with it. I'm gonna do this turmeric, which is, I'm gonna say a couple of teaspoons. You don't need a lot. It's gonna add a little color to it, a little sweetness. I find it to be a little sweet. And some black pepper. Now, with the pepper, if you're not aware, pepper can be spicy if you use too much of it. So depending on how you want your wings, you can add a little more black pepper to give it that sort of flavoring, or just leave that for the hot sauce. So once we get them all in here, we're gonna mix it all up real good, get our hands all greasy and oily and nasty. All right, so let me get the baking sheet out. I'm gonna set these on a wire rack in the baking sheet. I think the oven's almost ready, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, just check the oven, made sure that it's up to temperature. I've got my wings laid out on a wire rack. I actually put a sheet of parchment paper underneath just because it kind of helps with the cleanup a little bit. I'm gonna cook these for 30 minutes, middle rack, and then I'm gonna flip them all and then cook them for another 30 minutes. While that's doing that, I'm gonna get my stuff together for the sauce, and I'll show you how to make that. That's the fun part. All right, so the wings are gonna be done in just a couple of minutes. So the next step is to make the sauce that we're gonna put all over the wings before we put them back in to finish them off. Real quick, really easy. All you need is some honey, some hot sauce, and some butter. I got about 3 tablespoons of real butter, not that fake shit. I have some local raw, unfiltered wildflower honey. This stuff's really good. And I'm just a side note, I did try using agave nectar once, and just didn't caramelize as well. It's just not honey. And then hot sauce, again, this is where you can be kind of creative and do your own thing. Make your own hot sauce. I will do an episode on that at one point, because I have made my own habanero jelly, and I want to make habanero hot sauce. This is a Trinidad Tobagan hot sauce that a very nice young lady on Twitter recommended to me. It's a hot pepper sauce. It uses Scotch bonnet peppers, so it should have a nice little kick. I think it's a little bit more of a mustardy sauce, but I've done this with half a dozen different hot sauces. They've all been awesome. My personal preference is Tabasco sauces. I just really like those. Hot one sauces are really good. There's thousands of hot sauces out there, so have fun with it. Use whatever strikes your interest. All right, so let's get started on making this. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the burner on medium. We're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of honey. And I'm just guesstimating it here, mostly because when I make a mess with the honey, I get to clean it up. Oh, that stuff's so good. And then we're gonna make sure that's shaken up really good by dropping it on the floor. Ha ha ha. Shake that up good. And we're gonna do about a 1/4 cup of this. Yeah, that looks good. Ooh, that's really good. So as this is going to heat up, we're going to stir it, blend it really good. When it seems like it's well mixed together. We'll add the butter in at the very end, and then we can, once it's all melted and infused and mixed together well, we're gonna put it over the wings. All right, so this is mixing pretty well. We're gonna put the butter in. Try not to splash it on ourselves here. And then this will just take a moment or two. It helps sometimes to take the butter out a little early and let it come up to temperature. It'll melt much faster than what this is doing. But what we want to do is melt the butter down. We got it on medium heat, so it's not going to boil, but we want it to come to a bit of a simmer, and then like simmer it for about 2 minutes. It'll help to reduce it just a little bit, thicken it up just a little bit. And let's give it just another couple of minutes. All right, this baby is nice and kind of bubbly, and it's mixing up really nice. Looks good, smells amazing. One thing I forgot to mention, when you pull the wings out after an hour, set the oven on broiler, low broiler. And you don't need to move the rack because you don't necessarily need to have these wings underneath it. You'll burn them. Leave the rack in the center. All right, and I got the wings in here. Yeah, that's getting hot, so let me grab a pot holder so I don't permanently scar myself here. All right, we're gonna pour this over the wings. Oh my God, this smells so good. One of these days, YouTube's gonna have to come up with like a scratch and sniff thingamajigger. All right, toss that out of the way. Put that over here. I would recommend that you use tongs or something to mix these, because otherwise you're gonna burn the shit out of yourself, which is not fun. All right, once you get these coated really well, you can put them back on the rack, and depending on if you have any sauce left over, you can either pour it off into a little jar or something to use if people want to dip sauce in, or dip their wings in the sauce later, or you can pour the excess over the wings before you put it back in the oven. So let's see what's going to work out best for me. Now, these are some gorgeous wings. Don't you agree? All right, so the wings look amazing. One of the things I want to mention is the turmeric I used helps to kind of give it a golden color. So, but you can do whatever. Like I said earlier, you can do whatever spice combinations strike your fancy. I did just salt, pepper, garlic powder, and turmeric. You could do chili powder, cayenne, onion powder, curry powder. Oh, I'm gonna try that next time. Curry powder. And then again, with your sauce, I recommend honey, but you can use different kinds of honey, because there's orange blossom honey, there's wildflower honey, there's, I don't know, blueberry honey, whatever. But you can try different ones. Plus the hot sauces, there's so many hot sauces out there. I strongly recommend you use, try to go for the independent guys, independent sauce makers, or if you're feeling especially spicy, make your own hot sauce. It's not that difficult. I'm going to do an episode on that, as a matter of fact. Mark it down. I'm going to do it. Write it down. Yeah. All right. So I'll let these cool off for just a few minutes because I know they're going to be ridiculously hot, having come out from under the broiler. One caution, wings are white meat. White meat doesn't really have as much fat as dark meat, so you can overcook these. I recommend when you put them in for that last finish under the broiler, I think 3 minutes. Your mileage may vary. If you keep the rack in the middle, when you put them back in, you could go between 2 and 3 minutes, but keep an eye on them. If you see them starting to burn, yank them out. But you do want them to get some color. So I'm gonna try one, and woo, it's still kind of hot. See, I'm not a heathen, I got a napkin. It's super sweet from the honey. That hot sauce is really good. It's, I I thought it was kind of a mustardy because it was kind of yellow, but it's not. I think that may just be from the Scotch bonnet peppers. But it's not overpoweringly hot. It's got like a nice sizzle on the top of my tongue. Flavor's incredible. So give these a shot. I think you'll like them. You'll be a hit with your friends. Or, hey, use some ridiculously hot sauce, make them for your enemies. Could go either way. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Please, if you do try it, reach out to me. Let me know. I want to know what your experience is like, what combinations you used. If you would, please subscribe. Subscription button somewhere over there, or should be in just a moment. Please rate the video, leave a comment, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and check out my blog. It's a creativity blog. I'm all about creativity, trying different things, exploring different things. Got a couple of short story collections out there on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. Check those out. They've got some pretty nice reviews. Thank you very much, everyone who's left a review. And other than that, be safe, be kind, be creative. Cheers. Okay, I've got to have another one. Oh my God. This hot sauce might be my new favorite.